Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our wonderful champions. I'm Rita Santamaria. I'm the owner and founder of Champions School of Real Estate, and I always enjoy saying hello in order to thank you for your business. So, thank you so much for choosing to be a champion. Thank you to our North Dallas, our Fort Worth, our Austin, San Antonio, our Houston West, Houston North, Houston Galleria campuses, our online students, as well as our virtual students. It is always, always my pleasure to be able to say thank you for your business. Thank you for choosing Champions School of Real Estate. And also, I love to take a minute to send a shout out to all of our counselors that take such great care of you. Any questions you have on the next step in your licensing or continuing ed or designation courses, or perhaps you have a friend that might want to be a loan officer or an appraiser or an inspector, and then everyone needs to take business etiquette. So our counselors are there to help you, also to tell you what you need to do to get your broker's license, because everybody knows that the general public recognizes broker associate. Our managers are amazing. They always make me look good. And a special shout out to Debbie Blazes, HR Vice President, Kurt Knobloch, Vice President, and Kimberly Didelowitz, the president of our company, soon to be celebrating next month 23 years at Champions School of Real Estate. Today, I have one of our wonderful instructors, Wauketa Jones. Wauketa is a prime instructor in the Fort Worth area at our campus in Fort Worth. And when I say prime, I say that because she teaches all of our experienced agents continuing ed, and they love her. And Wauketa Jones actually holds her license with Keller Williams DFW Lone Star. It's located in Arlington, Texas. But when she is teaching at Champions, which she has been for many years, she is a champion through and through. And this lady knows so much about real estate. I'm so proud of her. And her superstar wonderful status all these 16 and a half years in real estate. So today you're going to have basically two teachers by profession coming in to talk about what to do in order to raise your level of success just a little higher. So let's bring Wauketa in. And good morning, Wauketa. How are you? It is so fun to have you here today and to get to just sit and talk about all the things that you have done to be the success that you are these 16 and a half years. So congratulations on that success for sure. And thank you so much for being one of our illustrious instructors. We so appreciate you. So Wauketa, just starting out, and I hope all of our students are ready to take some great notes, as well as be aware that this interview will be on our Champions YouTube station this afternoon. But Wauketa, starting out, why did you decide to go into real estate? Everybody has a reason. What was your reason?
Well, it's kind of funny, Rita. When we moved here, we weren't quite sure where we wanted to live, and so when we decided to build, I would frequent my neighborhood. And one day, I was at a model home of another builder, and a young lady walked in completely confused, and she didn't know anything about Mansfield. And I was kind of dressed up that day. And so I shared some information with her about where we were building, and she had no clue where it was. So I volunteered to take her to the area. We walked into a model home, and I was giving her all the information about that particular builder, even though I wasn't building with them. So the sales rep noticed it, and as we were about to leave, she asked me for a business card, and I was confused, and I'm thinking, why does she want my business card? And so she thought I was a realtor. So I told her that I wasn't, and she said, well, you should be, because you seem to know more about our model home and our builder than most of the agents. And so long story short, she offered to take me to lunch, and she wanted to sit down and talk to me about coming aboard their company. And I thought, wow. So I met with her, but decided that instead of working for a builder, if I was going to pursue this, I would just get my real estate license. Because when I moved here, I had two businesses in Arkansas that I had to close, and I went to work for a large company in Fort Worth. And so I was looking for another entrepreneurial avenue. And so, really and truly, she sparked that interest. I looked into it and I thought, I love helping people, I love homes. And that's actually how I got my start in this business.
Well, you said a couple of things that do not surprise me. First of all, I want to tell our students that are watching today, the lady you're looking at right now is the one that we see every day when she shows up to teach. I don't think you have ever had a day where you sort of like casually dressed. She always looks like she's just ready to be a model somewhere, and always professional. And you're so smart, so it doesn't surprise me that the new home sales agent thought you were already in real estate. But that was your deciding moment when you decided, okay, well, maybe I need to be. So let's think back. And thinking back to when you first started 16 and a half years ago, what were some of the, at least one or two, if not three, of the activities you did to get Wauketa Jones's name out to the general public?
Okay. Well, the first thing I did was I purchased a CRM, a customer relationship management system. I learned how to time block so that I could spend 3 to 4 hours a day of consistent lead generation, because I knew that if I put forth an effort to do some type of activity every day and be consistent, that I will be productive. So after putting the CRM together, I had to learn scripts. And what I did was I used activity records to track everything that I did every day. I literally tracked every phone call I made, every contact I made. I tracked all of my appointments. I learned to put all of the people that I met, family, sphere, friends, church members, anywhere I went, I talked about real estate, and I would enter these people into my database. So I called everyone. I put everyone on some type of a campaign so that they would be constantly reminded of Wauketa Jones when someone would mention real estate to them. So for me, the 3 to 4 hours a day of consistent lead generation, follow up, and touching people about every 2 weeks so that my name would be branded into their minds. Those are the most important activities of any new agent's business.
So today we're going to do it just a little bit differently because, as I mentioned, both being teachers, I'm going to sort of restate some things to our students that you said, especially those that are new.
Mhm.
And that is, as a brand new person, you compiled a list of everybody that you knew and you let them know you were in real estate. But what I love is how you mentioned that you took your day and you segmented it into time segments so that you didn't sort of lose track of time.
Exactly.
What items were in those time segments that you kept track of every day?
So I kept track of the phone calls so that I could get an idea of what my lead conversion was. I primarily work with internet leads, and they're pretty cold and they don't always want to be contacted right away. So I wanted to track what business marketing was working for me. I was paying for a ton of leads, and I wanted to be able to track the sources of where my business was coming from. So by tracking it, I was able to know my numbers, my conversion rate. I was able to determine which lead companies I wanted to continue working with, and those that I wanted to discontinue. So I tracked where all of the leads came from. If it was a referral, I even know I had like little sheets, but all had a big put into the computer. I would have a note telling me what activity to put them on, what type of campaign, where the lead came from. And once I finished my activities for those 3 or 4 hours, I would then go back to my database and input them. So I was able to track where the lead came from. I was able to tag it as a person I've met or person I haven't met, if it was a specific organization. So if I wanted to e-blast just that particular segment of buyers or sellers, I could. And then, of course, I would always follow up with thank you notes. So that's pretty much what I was doing in the CRM.
I love the fact that being a new person, you really had some specific activities that you concentrated on. I love the fact, the very last statement you made about a thank you note, because thank you notes in today's world are like little gifts you get in the
Mhm.
mail because nobody gets those anymore. And even in today's world, we're going back to telling people, yes, texting's great. Yes, emails are great.
Mhm.
But a little handwritten thank you note where you can slip your business card in never goes out of style. It may be old school, but it's also current school. And people love just seeing a handwritten address with their name on it. You were ahead of the times. Um, and we are so jumping forward, but that's okay. You mentioned lead generation through technology. That, thinking back 16 and a half years ago, you were definitely on the leading edge of lead generation using technology. So, for our new people and any of our experienced people that don't really use this particular tool, please just let us know specifically, step by step, how you do lead generation using today's technology.
Okay, so back then, you're right, Rita. There were really only a few people in my office that had tapped into internet lead marketing. But because I was so good with technology, it seemed to be a good niche for me. I tried FISBOs and expireds, door knocking, open houses. I did all of those things. But the thing that seemed to be easy for me was purchasing leads. And at that time, there were some amazing companies that were providing me with really, really good leads. There was one in particular at the time. Market Leader had this amazing product called Just Listed and House Values. So I took a chance and I purchased some leads, and I was getting about 10 seller leads a month and 20 buyer leads. Those leads were actually warm. I would plug them into a database that I use called Top Producer. And when they went into the database, I set up these campaigns that would automatically send out an email as soon as that person sent any correspondence to me or communication. It immediately thanked them for browsing my website. And then the next step, the system would do is remind me the next day to send listings because they wanted to view homes online. So I'd go in and send listings. The third day, it would send me an activity reminder to follow up with them. And then after that, I would call them. And if they didn't answer, I'd leave a message. And then the system was kind of on autopilot. Every 10 days, they got something from me via email. Day 30, I'd give them a phone call. 40 and 50, another communication via email. Day 60, a phone call. So every 2 weeks, the CRM would send out an email to this particular person, and then I would call them every 30 days. And I left them on this campaign for about 6 months. At the end of 6 months, if they had not reached out to me, then I would change them to an 18-month campaign. So for the most part, I stayed in front of this person for literally 24 months until they contacted me to let me know that they were actually ready to buy a home. There are many
Wow.
CRMs out there for real estate that will allow you to pretty much automate your business to keep you productive. And it also maximizes your day so that you can continue with other activities while your system is pretty much working for you.
So, Wauketa, I know that we have some of our students that are listening to you going, oh my goodness, weren't these people ticked off hearing from this woman so much?
No,
Did you ever get an ugly email or phone call like, leave me alone or please go away?
absolutely.
Did that ever happen?
Absolutely. I mean, generally, you're going to get 6 or 8 no's before you get a yes. But I knew what my big why was. And in real estate, it's inside sales, it's outside sales. And so that's just the nature of our business. And if you get discouraged every time someone hangs up in your face or, you get an ugly look, then it is probably not going to be good for you, because you have to really just press through it. And I knew that eventually someone would allow me to come and meet with them and discuss selling their home. So I just continued to make the calls. I practiced my scripts. I mastered the scripts. I was able to handle all kinds of objections and rebuttals with joy, and I kept a smile on my face. And even the days where, I called 30 people and I had not gotten a contact, it could be very discouraging, but I knew that I just had to keep calling and that someone would eventually give me a yes. And the other part to that is, if I didn't call them, someone else would. So it was either going to be me or another agent who is my competition. So I figured it may as well just be me, because if I don't get their business, the next agent in the cubicle next to me or the office next door, they're going to call and get the business. So I just continue to be persistent.
So I'm going to recap, because you've hit so many really fine points and thought processes that new people have. And right off the top is fear. A lot of people are fearful about asking for business. Way back, there was this book I loved, I had on my shelf, and it was Timid Salespeople Have Skinny Children. Meaning, obviously, they're not eating really well. If you're in sales, you have to let people know you're in sales.
Yes.
So, most definitely, you had people that said, please hold back a little bit, or please go away. I don't want to hear from you right now. But as you so very succinctly stated it, that is characteristic of our business. If you're not getting no's, you're not asking enough times.
That's correct.
And I also want to ask you, it's very interesting. You approach everything very analytically. So, on a personality basis, because I know in sales, we all know our personalities. What personality do you generally show on a personality test?
Well, on the DISC profile, I'm kind of unusual. My D and my I are almost equal. Typically, you're strong in two, but I have a very high S, which means I'm very organized. Yeah. I function in an administrative way, systematic. I cannot function unless I have a system in place. I function by a calendar, a schedule, or else I'm just going to be all over the place. So for me, every day, it was a system. And if I got off, then I didn't do as well. The DI, obviously, I'm pretty direct. I can be very firm, but I also love people. That's where the I comes in. So at times I can somewhat want to please people, but I found a way through discipline to try to balance the I and remain in control, because in real estate, you really do have to be the one that's in control. So for me, I'm DI, I'm equal there, and I have high S, which means I'm extremely organized.
Exactly. That certainly doesn't surprise me as well. I would have really thought that the S would have been higher, because S is the analytical side. And yet you are such a friendly go-getter person. And the fact that you took all of your day and segmented it and stayed focused and kept going certainly shows that you have a driver personality. The I, for our students that have not done a personality profile, that means influential. It means feeler. She likes to be around people. She loves interacting. And the truth is, for everyone, you as an agent must be a part of every one of those personalities. We talk about that in our marketing classes, especially powerhouse marketing. What personality you are is great to know, but when you're in front of the buyer and seller, you must mimic their personality. And there are a lot of tip-offs that tell us what personality those people are demonstrating. And then you mimic it, and when you walk away and close the door and say, I will get back with you, I hope you choose me, I believe you'll choose me. If you mimic them or sort of parallel their personality, they're going to believe they met a new friend and you're just like them. You are very organized. You don't take no as go away. You take no as, okay, I got that no today, so I'll get a yes soon. I love all that. Something I didn't tell our students is because of your wonderful technology background that you also did a lot of classes early on for the Fort Worth Association of Realtors and a lot of offices on technology, literally how to use your computer for your best benefit as a tool in real estate. Let's take it a couple of steps forward because we have old school, we have new school, and yet every top producer, no matter what generation they are that I interview, I ask them these same questions. You most definitely are someone that has a tried and true background. So let me ask you, how do you feel about open houses? And let's say you're a brand new student, brand new agent. Tell us about open houses, if you think they work, how they work, why they work.
Okay. I think open houses is a great tool for new agents because going in, they don't really have listings right away. So by finding other agents in the office who have listings that need to be held open, it's a great way to get your name out there. It's a great way to attract buyers. And preparing for your open house, you want to put, all types of correspondence on your social media sites, letting everyone know about your open house. They also have websites where you can advertise it. It gives you an opportunity to walk the neighborhoods, door knock, and let all of the current homeowners in that area know that you're going to be holding that seller's home open on this particular day on the weekend or during the week. And then it's also a way for them to see how passionate and how aggressive you are, because usually when one seller sells their home in with 30 days or so, another seller in that neighborhood is going to want to sell. So you want to get your face known in that neighborhood. Do an unusual open house. Give it a theme: wine and cheese. Serve wine or cheese, popcorn or something. Thanks for popping by. Be different from everyone else. Make sure you put out signs leading to the open house, directionals, balloons, and be very, very engaging when they come into the homes, because most of the buyers that show up at an open house are not represented. So build a rapport. And another thing I always did was I kept like a little booklet of homes that were priced $10,000 to $15,000 above and below the house, the price of the home that I was holding open, because a lot of the buyers may not like that home, or maybe it's a little higher than they anticipated. So I would always give them those books to view. I'd say, hey, listen, I have some other homes in the area that might, attract you. If you would like to see one of those after I close up here, I'll be happy to take you out to see those homes. So it was a way to keep them there and to continue to build a rapport. And oftentimes they would make an appointment with me to show them another home, and then I would be able to get them to the office, move forward with a consultation, and eventually get them to become my clients. So open houses are a great way to get buyers, but you must market them so that you'll have a lot of foot traffic, and be sure to have some type of a login sheet or way to track their information, add them to your database, and that way you can now start marketing to those individuals who may not be represented by other agents at the time.
I want to say, and yes, I am going to do a plug here. What Wauketa was talking about is then my 30 Days to Success book on how to set up for an open house, how to get your open house ready, as well as every day what you can do to be successful. I had the pleasure of interviewing Jen Y, top agent. She'd been in real estate for less than 4 years, I want to say 3.5. And when I interviewed her, she absolutely said she started her career, as many have, by doing open houses every single weekend, but not just every single Saturday, Sunday. She would start on Thursday and do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And obviously it worked. She said to everyone listening how it got her career jump started. But to this day, even though she has a team of others that work with her now, that to this day, when she's interviewing for a team member, she will say, "How do you feel about giving up every Saturday and Sunday of your life?" And if they say, "What?" And she say, "You need to be on an open house every weekend. And yes, you can have some weekends off, but starting out, I want you to get leads. I want you to get
Mhm.
buyers." And if they say, "No, never mind," she's like, "Okay, well, then you won't work for my team then." But that is truly her particular secret ingredient to success. So we've got our list together. We're going to make sure everybody knows we're in real estate. We're going to wear a name badge. We're going to have business cards. We're going to pass them out all over. We're going to send thank you notes to those that we interfaced with. Now let's talk about, I have, as a brand new agent, I have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of money. And we're going to do open houses. What else can we do as a brand new agent starting out that might bring us business?
Okay. Well, there's always a zero cost marketing approach. As you mentioned, let everyone know you're in real estate. You can send emails that doesn't cost any money. You can door knock neighborhoods. So that's free. You can go into businesses and introduce people. You can sit at a Starbucks and drink a cup of coffee every morning, and it costs $5, and talk to everyone that comes in and out of that business. You can send letters. You can send notes. Anything that doesn't cost money. You can also use marketing tools that are provided through most of the home warranty providers. There's usually a marketing toolbox for realtors. American Home Shield, First American Home Warranty. There's a ton of them. They have free marketing materials that you can use if your broker doesn't provide that. All you need is a printer. Breakthroughbroker.com. It's another website that provides free marketing tools and free infographics for social media. Social media is another medium that you can use. And even through the Board of Realtors, through our Netris Realist tax system, there's a way that you can go in and create customized mailing labels for neighborhoods, subdivisions. You can pretty much search by any type of category. Lot owners, if you're looking for properties for developers. I mean, you can go in, create your own mailing labels. It will even print those out for you on the pre-printed or the preset label sheets that you can buy at Staples. And so I did a lot of that. I used the free newsletters, the free flyer templates, and then I was able to go into Realist and create mailing labels for neighborhoods. And your office may have a bulk permit stamp. I was able to use that so that my postage would be a fraction of the cost. I got my kid to help me put the labels on every envelope, and I was able to mail them for a very, very low cost, as opposed to paying for one of the higher end marketing companies like mailprint.com or expresscopy.com. Those can be several $100s, every time you send out communication. So
Exactly. We actually use those with our business. Sorry to interrupt, but
no problem.
absolutely. And you hit on a number of things. And those number of things, I know our students are like, "I can't write that fast." So I want to remind them that it's on YouTube this afternoon, and please take the time to review it again. Also, get to know your loan officers. Not
Mhm,
everybody sells their home through an agent. Sometimes they do for sale by owner.
mhm,
Get to know your loan officers, get to know your appraisers, get to know your inspectors, get to know your title people, because very often something falls through, and then they will say to that person that helped them, be it the appraiser, be it the inspector, be it the lender, be it the title person, "I need an agent."
mhm,
So definitely get to know those people. You hit at the beginning on something else, and that is, if you are not involved in a group, find a group that you can get involved in. It doesn't have to be a huge group,
mhm,
it can be a small group, but those people are your networking group that are also going to send you business for sure. So I have to ask you, Wauketa, how long were you in the business before you realized, wow, this is really for me? This is what I was meant to be. How long did it take you to really feel comfortable?
Honestly, I would say by the end of the first year, I worked at Bell Helicopter for about 6 months while I had my license. I was actually there 2 years, but I was in a dual role for 2 years for 6 months, and
I
about
love hearing that. I love hearing that. A
mhm,
lot of people have to be in a dual role
mhm.
until they can afford to go 100% into real estate.
That's correct. And so I kind of saved my income for several months. And so my husband said, okay, let's try this out. If it doesn't work, you can always go back to work. So I had a little stash so that we didn't have to use our household budget. So about 3 months in, I got my first client. And from there, it just took off. And when it got to the point where I was doing more real estate than work for Bell Helicopter, and I felt like I was almost doing my work at work, I felt that I had to make a decision, and so in 6 months, I decided to go full time. My goal was to replace my current income by the end of that year. And when I did that, I replaced my income. I knew then that I could do this full time and I would never have to look back. And since that time, I've replaced that income and more every year. So that is when I realized that real estate was for me and that I could be successful. And I was successful and still am very successful at it when I was able to replace the income. So I met that goal and I continue to move forward.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy that our students get to hear your story. Most definitely having that goal of, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to be full time in real estate, but I still need income. We
Hmm.
have so many people, especially in the summer, a lot of school teachers, they need to hold on to that school teaching
Hmm.
job. And that's how I started before I jumped into real estate. And I did exactly the same thought process that you did. When I can duplicate my income from real estate that's equal to teaching, then I'll jump full time into real estate. And I was so happy and fortunate to be able to do that right away,
Hmm.
uh, because real estate is so much fun. And the other side of the coin being, I love walking in the classroom to say hello, but also to say, you can have a life, you can have a family, and also be a business owner, also be an entrepreneur. So tell us a little bit about you and your family. How are the boys doing?
They are doing great. I have two boys, or I guess I should say young men now, but they're going to always be my boys. But Darius is 26 and Jalen is 21. They're doing great. Jalen is still in college, and so he attends the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in LA. He's absolutely loving it. He's a whole lot like his mother, entrepreneurial spirit. He's working at Nordstrom, selling shoes. He's a little fashion designer, so he's doing amazing there. So, I love my boys. I love my family. And I'm so thankful for my husband, Ben, because Ben really aided in this process by allowing me to do real estate on a full-time level. And, being gone all the time, he took on roles of mom often. And since I've been in real estate, he's never complained one day about the time that I devoted to real estate. So without his support, there's no way I would be as successful as I am now, because it really does take a strong support system and a strong family support system in order to be successful in this
It
business.
does. And about day 3 of 30 days to success, I say you need to sit down with your family.
Hmm.
And if not day 3, even maybe before you go to real estate school, Champion School of Real Estate, and say, this is what mom has to do. Mom has to put it all in, working, working, working in order to see the outcome and the benefit for the family. This is how it's going to be. As far as the schedule day in, day out, mom, dad are going to be very busy getting their new career launched. But that
Hmm.
new career allows you to go to their baseball games, their soccer games, their swim meets, everything that they're involved in, because for the general public, that's an appointment. And they don't need to know, and the general public wouldn't ask, well, who's your appointment with? And that appointment happens to be going to a soccer game to
Mhm.
watch your son play soccer. And that is also the beauty of it. I interviewed a very uh, top, very large, high end top producer in the San Antonio area. And I remember his saying, as many others have said, I tell new agents that come in to say, can I be part of your team? I tell them, you're brand new. Have you told your family that you're going to be giving it your all, if not 7 days a week, at least 6 days a week, in order to get your new business started? And if they say they haven't, he says, go back home, have that conversation, and then come back and tell me how the conversation went. And you're mentioning Ben. I always love on Facebook seeing your wonderful pictures celebrating your anniversaries and also cooking, which you are an amazing cook, chef, frankly, in my mind. But you, as a new agent, experienced agent, but certainly coming into any business, if you were opening a storefront shop and whatever you were selling, it would be you as the owner devoting your all. And I'm so hoping that each one watching today has talked with their significant other to say, this is what I have to do
Mhm.
in order to launch my new career. Now, let's say this agent is about 2 years into the business. If they had certainly some money in savings, and we always say move 10% aside for education, for coaching, for doing other types of learning skills that are going to help you succeed even more. So you're 2 to 3 years in the business. What would you suggest that experienced agent do with that extra money they have now?
I'm glad you mentioned coaching, Rita, because it's very important. Because sometimes we reach a glass ceiling and we don't know how to go to the next level. And I would recommend hiring a real estate coach to assist you with breaking through that glass ceiling to get to the next level. Because all agents will need to learn how to leverage their business. There's only so much you can do by yourself, and there's going to come a point in their business where they're going to need to learn how to add to their team, maybe an assistant, maybe a buyer's agent, a listing agent. And a coach can assist you with that process. A coach can hold you accountable to make sure that you're reaching your goals. That weekly call, the motivation, the task that they assign. So it keeps you accountable. So for me, a coach kind of grounded me and told me things about myself that I needed to tweak, things that I needed to change. And even though I didn't like it, at times I was like, oh, she's mean. It helped me because it helped to my business on another level that I didn't even know I could get to. So I certainly recommend getting a real estate coach with that additional savings or that 10% so that they can help you take your business to the next level and you can to leverage.
We've hit on some questions that are so good for new people to ask when they're interviewing different brokers. And if you're brand new, we always say interview with at least 3 companies. The
Mhm.
reason that in our brick and mortar schools, we invite companies to come in and serve lunch over the students' off time is it gives the student an opportunity to hear from other companies and how they operate. But when you go in for your interviews, students, ask about training, ask
Mhm.
if there is in house coaching, because early on, you want as much training as you can get. And just ongoing in any business is very, very important. So that's a good question to ask. And then, as well, when you do have that build up of money, don't take that vacation right away. Invest in yourself. I think it is so very funny that we pay a coach to tell us things about ourselves that we don't want to hear. And if a spouse did that, we would be really incensed,
Yeah.
but we're going to pay money for them to say, you did not do enough leads every
Mhm.
day. And most definitely in our marketing classes and 30 Days to Success and business etiquette, we talk about how to separate your day, organize your day so that you do make sure you hit so many leads. I love saying every day you need to make sure you hit 5 people
Mhm.
that involve a conversation about real estate. It's just really easy because at the end of the week, if you've done 5 people a day, you're going to have had a serious conversation with at least 25 people by
Mhm.
Friday. And those 5 people, even if they don't have a need, they will have a friend that may have a need.
Right.
And you don't have to be, as you know, obnoxious about it, but you do need to talk about who you are, what you do for a living. And the first time you get someone that says, well, I need you, then it sure is a lot easier the next time to
Exactly.
talk about what you do, who you are, what your career is. We all have heard from Dr. Gaines Research Center at A&M University about our incredible markets in Texas.
Mhm.
We also know that Fort Worth, Tarrant County is right at the top of the leader list, along with Austin. And you living in suburbia, but know Fort Worth very well. What do you see happening in Fort Worth? Why is Fort Worth so very attractive right now?
Well, I think a lot of people are attracted to Fort Worth because they see it as a very sound investment. Fort Worth has a very rich, it has rich diversity, cultural history. People think of it as the true Texas, of the West. Fort Worth offers great schools. They have great employment opportunities. And one of the differences between Fort Worth and Dallas is that Fort Worth has the land to expand and grow. They have one of the best downtowns in America. And so many people are attracted to that downtown area. For one, it's less congested, not as much traffic as Dallas. It's kind of difficult sometimes to get in and out of Dallas. Dallas can be known to be expensive, very urban, very busy. And I think Fort Worth is more laid back, it's more casual. Fort Worth has more affordable homes that people can purchase. And right now, with interest rates increasing, it's really important to find an area that's affordable, great schools, employment opportunities, not so much traffic. So right now, on average, there's about 328 people that are moving to Fort Worth every day for those conveniences, for those leisures. And so Fort Worth is really just becoming a hot spot in the DFW.
I think that it's so encouraging to know you can go to a beautiful metropolitan area. And as you said, you can still buy a home in a more affordable price
Mhm.
range. What are some of the suburbs around Fort Worth? If I were a new person and I wanted to Google purchasing a home, moving my family to Fort Worth, what are some of the names of the surrounding suburbs?
Well, I would probably, let's see, suburbs. I would think about some of the areas in North Fort Worth, um, shops at Clear Fork. There's areas there, Edwards Ranch, La Cantera. Oh my God, there's so many of them. Caraways. Oh gosh, there are just too many
And
to
then the
name.
towns that surround Fort Worth, like Cedar Park, absolutely
Mhm.
gorgeous. And are all of those areas, is Mansville's close to Fort Worth, right?
Yes, Mansfield is close to Fort Worth. Mansfield is a suburb that's very close to Fort Worth. Keller is another area that's pretty close to Fort Worth that
Mhm.
people are attracted to. Roanoke, all within just 15 or 20-minute drive of downtown Fort Worth. So even just outside of Fort Worth, um, you can still get there very easy.
What would be your most robust price point typically? in the Fort Worth area?
On average,
An approximate, yeah, on average.
I would say right now, you can get a home in the price range of $400,000 in a lot of the areas in Fort Worth, unlike some of the other surrounding areas
Mhm.
where the median price point is above $550,000, $600,000 now, with the increase that we've seen in home prices over the last couple of years. And there are even some areas in Fort Worth where you may still be able to get a home for under 350,000. I literally just put a house on the market in Fort Worth a month ago for $350,000. It's near Keller, the Golden Triangle area, and we got an offer. We got multiple offers over the weekend, and we're actually closing on that property tomorrow. My clients got 40,000 over asking, so there are still some homes, not a ton, that are very affordable in the $350,000 price range.
I absolutely love driving to our campus off Camp Bowie, um, and driving through the TCU area and the beautiful zoo there and museums, but going over towards Arlington as well, a little south of Arlington, those rolling hills are just amazing.
Mhm.
And I know you live like right in the middle of all that beauty. And it's little wonder that Fort Worth is absolutely the hot is we know why it's the hot spot it is. It's a lot more affordable. You get beautiful quality homes and more place to spread out. So
Mhm.
you settled there. How many years ago did you settle in that area?
We've been here for almost 17 years in this home, but we've been in Texas for 18 and a half years.
So you've certainly seen Tarrant County grow a
Oh my
lot
God.
and Fort
Yes.
Worth
Big
grow a
time.
lot.
Mhm.
Having raised your sons there and gone into real estate there and worked so hard and then teach for us consistently, which I'm so proud of and so thankful of, what does Wauketa Jones do for fun and relaxation?
Oh wow. Cook. No, I love to cook. We love to watch movies. I actually like to garden. So my husband built me um, an upright garden. So I like to garden. I like to hang out on my patio. Um, we like to take vacations with our boys, and I'm a foodie. So we love to go out to eat. So family time for me is something I just adore. And even if I don't hang out with anyone else, I love hanging out with my family and my girlfriend. So, but I'd say cooking is my number one hobby. I sing at church. I'm on the praise team, so I absolutely enjoy singing at church on Sundays.
Wauketa, I look at your Facebook page and I see these dishes that you make, and I'm thinking she could easily be a chef. I mean, I'm telling our students these aren't just like basic dishes. And some of the ingredients that you say you have in your recipe, I don't have in my kitchen. And it's just your everyday way of cooking. I'm really in awe, and yet I love it that it's sort of your way of relaxing and your hobby. Everybody needs a way to relax.
Mhm.
But that is so intriguing to me how it can be so joyful to so many people. And speaking of joyful, you always have that smile on your face all the time.
Oh.
I don't think Wauketa Jones has ever had a bad day, or if she
Mhm.
has, she never expresses it. And that's something else in real estate sales. We can't
Mhm.
ever let our buyers and sellers know that we're having a bad day.
That's correct.
And speaking of that particular topic, we have a lot of disruptors in our
Mhm.
marketplace.
Yes.
And in your mind, having been in real estate for over 15 years, being in the market, what are the current disruptors? What is a disruptor? And how do you handle disruptors in sales?
Okay, we've always had disruptors in our market, Rita. So I'd say years ago, the disruptors that we had would be the companies that came in offering flat fee commission rates to our sellers. And that was pretty much what you saw back then. They were just using a different pricing structure. And so we kind of looked at that as a disruption, even though there is not a standard in commissions. 6% has become an acceptable number in our industry. Now, today, we have different disruptors. We have disruptors that are providing more convenient options for sellers. Sellers want convenience, they want to save money. You have companies like Knock. They say, hey, we'll swap homes with you. We'll buy your house and then we'll find you another one. And then they'll move you for free. You have companies like Open Door. They hold your home open 24 hours a day. Buyers don't need a buyer's agent. They can just download an app, put in a code, and they can go and view the homes. Open Door will also offer to buy our sellers homes, eliminating the need for a traditional listing agent. There's another one that's come on that's been out for a little while now. It's called Listing Spark. They will literally list your home for $7 per day. And if you want to add on additional services, there's an a la carte fee. Or at full price, they'll list for 0.5%. Now, they usually will still pay the buyer's agents 3%, but we have so many of these new disruptors in our market. Rex says we'll sell your home using artificial intelligence. OfferPad will buy your home. They pay for your movers. And so these are companies that are changing the way real estate looks. And if those companies win and we're not able to show a seller the value that we bring to the table, then it's possible that overall, the way we do real estate in the future, as far as commissions are concerned, will change. It's kind of like if you can't beat them, you end up joining them. So there's just so many different ideologies out there now that are challenging the everyday traditional real estate agent.
There are always changes in the marketplace, and I am so happy that you mentioned some that are front and center because our students need to know what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely, they may decide to go to one of those companies and work. You and I had discussed the fact that we wanted to discuss what the disruptors are, neither with a positive or a negative about them, but they are disruptors. And some particular agents, companies, feel like, oh, the competition is so different. How do I compete? Well, you decide what fits for you, where you want to be based on your personality, based on your experience, based on your likes or dislikes. Decide what's good for you. There will always be disruptors.
Mm-hmm.
And as you so succinctly stated, the ones that Wauketa mentioned are front and center of so many agents, brokerages, conversations, many being that they're part of that team, that group. Others are, how do we compete? Answer is, you compete ethically, you compete honestly, you compete the way that works for you and your personality and who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Way back, believe it or not, I can recall, since I opened my school in 1983, I can recall literally when the internet became popular. And to talk about the word disruptor, oh my goodness, disruption with the internet, yes, it definitely harmed travel agencies and went such a different direction in many other particular career areas. Real estate, every brokerage was nervous as can be. We learn, obviously, looking today and going backwards, that it really helped our business. It helped our business run more smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned a word, Wauketa, that I want to throw back out to you. You said a lot of these disruptors that you mentioned and gave a very nice description of how they operate, they are working for the convenience of the seller, convenience of the buyer. That is such a huge word. So if I'm in a traditional office that is not set up like some of the others you mentioned, what are some convenience tasks that I can offer my sellers and buyers?
So, as far as conveniences, pricing the home correctly so that we can sell it quickly. One of the things that I
Perfect.
do now is if we price it right, the home will sell itself. So one of the things I do is I put houses on the market on a Friday night. And I'll make a note that the homes will go live Saturday morning so that the seller is only out of the home over the weekend. And because of the multiple offer climate that we're in, by Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, we're already, we have a ton of offers and we're able to make a decision fairly easy and quickly. So by Monday, we're generally under contract. So the convenience of pricing it right, getting it sold literally over the weekend, and that way the seller is not inconvenienced with buyers coming in and out of the house all day. So that's one strategy that I've been using. Of course, again, open houses, making sure that you're putting it on all of the websites so that the home is literally open 24/7. Some agents are doing it online. They're doing listing appointments online. So you don't even have to go into the seller's home. You can do everything online, literally list the home without even opening their front door. You're putting a sign in the yard, a lockbox on the door. So making it as convenient for the seller as possible and finding out what the seller wants. What are they looking for in an agent? What's important to them and meeting that need. And a lot of times they'll mention things that will let you know they're looking for the most convenient, easiest route with the least amount of hassle. So for certain, getting the home on the market as quickly as possible and getting it off the market over the weekend is always a good convenience, a convenient tool for sellers.
You're absolutely correct. And the pricing and giving that seller the information on the pricing is amazing. And I think what stuck out in my mind as well is something my daughter, who's in real estate, told me recently. One of her sellers said, Kelly, I would use you again and again because you told me what I needed to do to get my house ready to
Mhm.
sell. You literally told me get rid of all this extra
Mhm.
stuff here, 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 and you staged my home.
Yes.
And those services most definitely pay off with your sellers. Be honest, be upfront. Take our CHMS course on staging. Learn how to have those conversations. Definitely learn pricing. We have designation courses just on pricing that our students can take anytime. Even if you're not licensed, you can take them.
And another
But
thing, Rita,
um,
we can also partner with companies that will even do free moves for our clients, just like some of our competitors have. Some brokerages have iBuyer programs so that we're able to match what the competition is doing. You can offer there's ways you can even keep them from even going on the market by using an iBuyer, presenting the home to the iBuyer so they don't have to show it. So we can do a lot of what our competitors are doing also if we partner with the right companies. And so basically, we're offering the same service. So I totally agree with you too about the staging.
exactly. And any of these particular names that you're not familiar with, certainly when you look at this again on YouTube or if you've taken notes, Google it later, learn about competition and what they do that's so positive, that's working great, whomever the competition is. And then if it works for you, duplicate, 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 because obviously there are buyers, sellers out there that like those particular services. Unfortunately, my friend, we are winding down, and I have loved talking with you and so proud of you and your success. So, looking back at your career, and is there anything that you might have done different early on, or is it just exactly the way it should have been? Anything you might tell your younger self?
Yes, I would tell myself what you focus on expands. Don't create battles that don't exist. I would also tell myself not to chase the money, especially in real estate. You have to let the money chase you. And I mean, you have to learn how to take the right clients. And oftentimes I took the wrong client and it was very stressful, and it didn't have to be. So I learned to list homes in the price range for the buyers that I wanted to attract, because you attract what you list. So for new agents, don't create battles that don't exist. What you focus on expands, and list what you want to attract, and make sure that you interview your clients. Not every client is going to be a good fit for you. And so now, if I don't think this is going to be a good fit, if I think it's impossible, it's unrealistic, the expectations are unrealistic, I will not take that person on as a client.
Outstanding advice. And when you said don't chase the money, it made me think of Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights. It's exactly what he said he had to realize. And what she means is do your job right, do your work the way that you're trained to do it, so that your career is absolutely the career that you put in place, the business model you put in place. Work your plan and the money will come to you because you're doing it exactly the way that it should be done. Thank you, Miss Wauketa Jones with Keller Williams, DFW Lone Star. I am hoping and believing that we will have you in our Successful Tendencies of Real Estate Champions in the 3rd edition. We sell these because all the fine, amazing people like Wauketa who told their story, we put it in print. They're certainly available for sale in the front office and online. I'm changing the course a little bit on August the 9th. And this is our catalog that I have a copy of. It's going to be delivered to all the campuses this week in color. But this is the list of our superstar schedule coming up. And on August the 9th, I am so excited to have my friend, our friend, Hank Moore, who is a multiple time Pulitzer Prize winner, Pulitzer Prize candidate. He's going to talk about business, operating your business like a business. He's going to talk about the business tree, what goes into being in business. You'll love to hear Hank Moore. He's written many books. He was also the youngest consultant to a president, and it was President Lyndon Johnson. Literally, Lady Bird made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for him as a kid at UT. And his stories are incredible. The man is so very, very aware of what goes into businesses. He's spoken to probably every major company in the U.S., and he lives in Houston. He's a good buddy, and he'll be here on August the 9th. So if you aren't going to be in class to see it, please go to our internet and register for that particular course, and or as well, you can get that seminar on Champions YouTube. Thank you again, students, for being one of our amazing customers that allow us to grow our business, stay in business, and provide you every delivery that works for you, whether it's brick and mortar classroom, home study correspondence, correspondence online, true online, virtual classroom, and real estate loan appraisal inspection. You help us grow. We appreciate your business. We know that growth, part of it is because of great teachers like Wauketa Jones. So again, thank you, Wauketa. Thank you for teachers for allowing us to be in the classroom today and on Facebook. Bye-bye.